Hey guys, what's up? My name's Maddie, and today is Thanksgiving here in America. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about trying to deal with the holidays when you have an eating disorder. So I have anorexia with bulimic tendencies, and I am in recovery right now. I went to an eating recovery center, like I did an inpatient part and then an outpatient part, or no, it was partial hospitalization part, and then IOP, which is the intensive out care patient part. And I'm still in therapy about it, but I'm getting a lot better, so I'm kind of in recovery. This time last year was really rough for me. So Thanksgiving and the holidays are kind of like a big stressor for me because it's a lot of like food and feasting and family and like, eating, and everyone talks about food, and it's like a whole lot. So, I'm gonna give you a couple tips that like I use, and then I'm actually gonna like interview like my parents a little bit later, and see like if you have any tips, for like if you know a loved one that has an eating disorder, like how to best help them around this time of year. So, to get started, both, okay, so like as someone with an eating disorder, I get so frustrated so easy around the holidays because people talk about like their portion size, how bad they are for eating food, like that they need to exercise after their food, that I don't even know. Like they're like, "Oh my gosh, I ate too much. I'm such a bad person." Or like, "Oh, I'm so bad for eating this like cake or whatever." And it's frustrating for someone who's in eating disorder recovery. There we go. Because those foods like cake and like those fancy foods, whatever, those used to be fear foods and I would not eat them. And now when I'm eating them, people are talking about how many calories they have and stuff, and it really like triggers my eating disorder to like want me to not eat them or to purge if I eat them. And so it's really frustrating because literally all anyone does is talk about food on Thanksgiving. So it's very high stress for me. Luckily, right now, we've just recently moved, so it's literally my mom, my dad, and me. And, they've been through the eating recovery center with me, so they're like, they know what to do, what not to do. But, like, really, it requires a lot of patience on both sides. So, like, I need to have patience knowing that not everyone understands how harmful diet talk and, like, talking about portion sizes and stuff is. Like, a lot of people don't realize what they're doing is very, very harmful for people with eating disorders. And it's really annoying and frustrating, and I want to just like scream, but I know I have to have patience because not everyone really understands what's going on. And then I know like my parents have to have a lot of patience with me like stressing out, and like they have to be like not like extra careful, but they are like the ones who aren't talking about like diets or exercise and stuff like that. They kind of have to be conscious of that. And then they might be able to like help you out with other relatives. I don't know if you celebrate with like extended family or anything like that, but like letting them know like what you're saying has an impact on you. So I'm trying to think. I asked some of the girls that I was in the eating recovery center with to give me advice for people that do have eating disorders around the holidays, people who don't, who are just there like supporting people with eating disorders. So the first one really is, don't talk about how much or how little another person is eating. Like if you're eating a normal sized portion and someone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot of food," my eating disorder would like freak out. I'd be like, "Oh my god, that is a lot of food. I need to like restrict or purge." Or if they're like, "You're not eating enough food, you're not eating enough food," it might like, it would make my eating disorder happy. Like, I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not, because I don't want to gain weight." But like, just saying stuff about portion size is frustrating. Just like commenting on what another person's eating at all is really hard, because like it might have been a fear food at one time. Or if you talk about how many calories is in your Thanksgiving or holiday meal, you are rude. Okay? Like, I don't know, you're probably not trying to be rude, but like that is rude. It's gonna make people self-conscious about what they're eating. Like, it makes the meal very stressful. It's just like, you can't even, for me, like, you can't even enjoy the food because you're freaking out because of how many calories are in it. Another thing is, like, don't say food is good or bad. Like, really, like, if you're gonna talk about the food, you talk about how yummy it is, or like how great it is, or like how you like baked it, like baked cookies with your family or whatever, and how fun it was to make it. If you're gonna say, oh my gosh, I'm so bad for eating this food, it's gonna make someone else feel bad for eating the same thing. And eating food is never bad for you because all food has nutrition, all food keeps you going, you know. Some foods are more nutrient dense than others, but no foods are bad. So it's really frustrating because a lot with my eating disorder, I categorize foods into good and bad foods, and I only eat the good foods, which is like vegetables and all that stuff, which is not fun. If you're like me and you have an eating disorder and you get stressed out around this time of year, I have, so I learned a lot of coping skills at the Eating Recovery Center. Things like breathing techniques. You can do breathing techniques with, like, nobody will be able to tell. So, like, things like inhale for 5 counts, hold for 5 counts, exhale for 5 counts. Holding your breath. Don't do it, like, too much, but, like, it helps me kind of, like, focus and, like, recenter myself. Things like grounding. I do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique where you find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And just like looking for all those things and like counting them and stuff kind of like distracts you from anything that's going on and allows you to like just kind of like refocus and like regroup. What else? Things like journaling, drawing, coloring, painting, anything like that. Like, you could do like crafts with your little siblings or cousins, or like honestly just draw like by yourself. Like, I like drawing. Journaling really helps me get any like frustrations out without like taking them out on a person. So stuff like that. Always knowing you can step out. So like, if you're with like a big group of family and stuff and they're all talking about food and it's getting overwhelming, you can step out. Like, you don't owe anything to anyone. You can step out and take a break, calm down for however long as you need. You can call someone, like if you have a specific friend or like a parent, or like maybe you have your therapist like on your phone and you just need someone to talk to vent to, you can. Because that really helps me to get rid of like negative emotions. I literally text my therapist. I will be like, you will not believe what this person just said. Like, it's good to have a person and like explain to them and be like, hey, like, this is a hard time of year for me. Will you be my person? And chances are they will want to help you because you're a loved one. So with all that being said, I'm going to interview both of my parents and I'm going to ask them kind of if they have any tips or like any like words of advice for people who have a loved one with an eating disorder and like how to best support them. So I will be back with them. Okay, do you guys have any advice for anyone else that has a loved one with an eating disorder?
I would say that even if you don't necessarily understand what that person's going through, just let that person know that you're in that fight with them and that you support them and that you love them. And, you know, I think the healing or the treatment should be left to the professionals. Just give them your unconditional support and love.
Well,
that was very good. I would say try to get as much information as you can and try to educate yourself. Because no matter what you think, they didn't choose to have an eating disorder. It is a mental illness and it was out of their control. And I would also say that it would be best, like Roger was saying, to seek professional help, because a lot of people, you're not going to be able to do it on your own because you don't fully understand the whole disorder. And as parents, you have to do your best to educate yourself, to love them unconditionally, and try to be as sympathetic as you can. However, there are going to be times where you have to kind of hold them accountable once you're in therapy. And be willing to go to that therapy with them.
Did
And
you
just-
guys learn anything? Did you learn any like tips for like actually when you're eating the meals when you guys came to ERC?
Yeah, lots of tips.
Like what?
Can't look at the person. We can't really talk about. I mean,
Okay, it's not looking. The biggest, most important thing is not talking about the food, like not talking about the portions and stuff.
yeah, we did that. We also learned a lot of distraction techniques too, because it's eating stressful.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of distraction type of activities. So we learned a lot about that.
Nice. Anything else you guys want to say?
Love you.
We
Love you too.
Happy holidays from me and Bailey. Good luck, and I'm here if you need to talk. Huh, baby?
Happy holidays from Nala too. She's hiding under a table because she had a bath today. Happy holidays, bubs.
Hold this over there.
Okay.